What's up, guys? So this right here is the Wanbo Cube 1 portable projector. I wanted to give just kind of a full breakdown of this in case you're thinking about getting it, talk about some of the features that this thing has. It's pretty cool. As I said, it is very portable. As you can see, it closes like this. So I want to just kind of give a breakdown. I'll show this in use so you can see the color and everything, and then I'll just give my overall thoughts and opinion at the end in case you're thinking about getting it. So let's get in the video. So first off, one thing, like I said earlier, one thing that I really like is just how portable it is. I like how it just has kind of its own stand right here. It has these footings on the bottom, so that way it doesn't move around a lot, you know, when you have it on the table. But it has this 360-degree rotation, and so you can point it anywhere you want. Essentially, you know, when you're using it, you can point it at the wall, point it at the ceiling. It just gives you a lot of versatility, and then you can protect, you know, the lens when you're not using it. You can just close it like this, and it's super easy to put in your backpack, you know, and take it with you on the go. As far as what it comes with, you get a power cable here. It's about 5 feet long power cable. You get a remote. It doesn't come with batteries, but it just takes 2 AAA batteries. So you get this remote right here, and then you get, you know, your manuals and everything to show you how to use it. Super easy to set up though. All you pretty much have to do is just plug it in, put batteries in here, and you're ready to go. The remote is also super nice. You know, it has all of your different smart controls in it. One thing that's really cool about this projector is it has Google TV built into it. And so as you can see on the remote, you know, you have your major streaming platforms right here. And I'll show you when I actually plug it in, but you can go through all of your different streaming platforms. You can connect this to Wi-Fi, and then you're good to go. You can stream from it, and you can play games and things like that. And going along with that on the projector itself, so as you can see on the front, you have your lens right here. You don't really have any controls or anything like that on the front. Not really anything all around it, actually. You just have your remote. Here's a better look at the remote so you can see it. You have all of your basic controls. These buttons right here are actually the focus. So this has autofocus, and it has keystone correction for vertical. But if you want to focus it even more, you can click these buttons to focus it. But over here on the back of the projector is where you have your different controls. Where you have your different ports, I mean. So you have your on button right here. You have a USB-A if you want to plug something in there. You have an HDMI port. So if you need to, you know, if you want to plug in your gaming console or anything like that, you can plug it in right there. You have a headphone jack, and then you have your power supply port right there. So super simple setup. I do like that it has the USB and HDMI port though, because, you know, you can plug extra things in it. You can even plug, you know, a USB drive in here if you have movies already saved on there, and you can just plug it directly into it, and then you're good to go. You do have kind of cooling on the bottom as well to help keep it cool, and then it does have built-in speakers, but you know, you can connect other speakers to it, you know, via USB-B, you know, via USB if you want to, or you can plug in your headphones. But you know, it does have its own speakers. However, you know, obviously it's not going to be the best. This isn't, you know, a huge projector or anything like that. If you want better sound, you can plug things in, which is super nice. All right, I have it on now. It just turned on. As you can see, I'm about probably like maybe 10 feet, maybe a little more away from the wall. This can go up to a 110-inch screen. So depending on just how far away you are from the wall, the screen will get bigger. However, the further away you put the projector from the screen, the less bright it's going to be. And so it's better to have it pretty close. But this is a pretty big screen, as you can see here. And by the way, this is not nighttime by any means. It's actually midday, and so it's very light outside. All I have is this kind of curtain thing to block the light, but it's still pretty light in here. And it's going to be a good test. You guys can see, you know, even during the daytime, you can still see everything pretty well. So here it is right here. I'll show you guys what it looks like at nighttime, obviously, as well. But this is kind of the main screen. So you do have Google TV built into it, which is super nice. And you can download all of your different apps. So as you can see, you know, I got Netflix, Prime Video, and as you can see, it's very responsive with the remote as well. And you got the Google Play Store. When you first get it, it's going to prompt you to sign in to your Wi-Fi and your accounts, things like that. And it'll automatically download your accounts. But very responsive, and for it being light time, as you can see everything very clearly. And this is about 10 feet away, and so I feel like it's super bright during the daytime, and it's a really big screen, you know. But you can get it up to a 110-inch screen, you know, if you want to, the further back you go. However, like I said earlier, the further back you go, the less bright it's going to look. And like I mentioned earlier, you can adjust this, you know, 360 degrees if you want. Obviously, depending on which way you plug in the cable, it might get in the way if you go all the way around. But, you know, you can totally, if you want to, you can put this on your ceiling. And as you can see, it has auto keystone correction, and it has autofocus as well. The autofocus, I usually, you know, honestly, I just use the remote as well. Like I mentioned earlier, If you click this button, it'll help focus it a little bit better. So you can just click this button and then you can just keep clicking until the focus is perfect like that. So I would recommend just using this to focus it in, but the keystone correction is great. Let me go back to the wall here. This, boom, and as you can see, it hooks onto the wall. And then I'm just gonna go here again with the remote. However, it already kind of did it on its own. However, I just kind of like to do this to get the exact, the most clear possible. And boom, now we're ready to go. So, the keystone correction does work well. It's able to adjust very quickly, as you can see from the ceiling here. And I do really like that it has this 360-degree design that you can, put it on any surface you want, or any, you can go on the ceiling if you're in bed, or you can just go on the wall. It's not going to adjust all the way if you're at an angle, obviously. So that wall, you do want to make it go to a flat surface, as you can see there. So you do want to make sure it's kind of a flat surface. It's going to make it a little bit better. But it does have keystone correction and it works well, which I like. And now I just wanted to show you a couple clips from some movies. Like I said, this is midday and look at the color. I mean, I feel like you can still see the colors pretty well. There's just the window so you can even tell it more. And you can see the colors great. Obviously, if you're watching, something really dark, a really dark show during the daytime, it's not going to be as good. You're not going to be able to see it as good. But, if it's like a show like this where it's mainly light in a lot of the scenes, you're going to be able to see it really well. And here's just a look, so you can see the projector. Like I said, I'm about like 10 to 12 feet away from the wall. And yeah, you can see it really well. Here is another scene right here. And yeah, just depending on, when you're watching it, if it is really light outside, you're probably going to want to watch a movie that's brighter, because dark scenes is not going to look as good. But this is just during the daytime. So pretty impressed, honestly. Really good colors. And you can see it really well even during the daytime, which is pretty awesome. And here's an example of a not animated movie. As you can see, it's still fairly bright. This is still a pretty bright scene. But as you can see, it's not as bright as the animated movie. But you can still see it, fairly well. And then here's what it looks like at nighttime. And as you can see, the colors are really nice, very vibrant, nice colors. The contrast I feel like is pretty good. And yeah, it's really bright at nighttime. So yeah, it definitely looks a lot better at nighttime. Like I said, this is like 12 feet away from the wall. If you're gonna use this, definitely recommend using it at nighttime, but it still looks pretty good during the day. All right, so I hope that kind of help you guys see some of the features that this projector has. Honestly, as far as my just overall thoughts and opinion on it, I think this is a great projector for the price that you get and the quality that you get. I really like, obviously this is a very portable projector, so maybe it's not gonna have the brightness of, a really high quality, super, expensive projector or anything like that. But if you have it close enough to the wall, I feel like even during the daytime, it still is fairly bright. This is the midday and you can still see it really good. And at nighttime, honestly, it's amazing for how small this is. Really nice projector in my opinion, if you really want a portable one. And like I said, kind of at the beginning of the video, I really like that you're able to adjust it 360 degrees. And I especially like how, storing it doesn't come with a case or anything like that, but storing it, you can just face it down and then it protects the lens and everything. And so overall, if you're looking for a solid portable projector, in my opinion, this is a great option. It works great. And I really like how it has Google TV built into it. So you can watch all of your favorite shows, and it has an HDMI port and a USB-A so that you can plug in external, devices and things like that. So pretty amazing. If you guys are looking for a portable projector, definitely recommend checking this out. Great option in my opinion for portability and still great quality.